was 16 years old, I was having an argument with my mom about video games. Mainly about the fact that I play them way too much. She basically said something like, "You waste way too much of your time playing video games. Please get a life, you turbo nerd." Okay, maybe those weren't her exact words, but that's what it felt like she said. And I remember answering back with this little gem. "Mom, some of the greatest moments in my life have come from playing video games." And in that moment, I could hear every woman's vagina within a 50-block radius just snap shut. But as nerdy as it was, I wasn't lying. Some of the best moments in my life to this day have come from playing video games. But what I failed to explain to my mother was that it wasn't just the video games, it was who I was playing them with. Whether it be 4-player Mario Party matches or Capture the Flag in James Bond Nightfire. Some of my most cherished childhood memories have come from playing these games with friends and family. Have come from sitting on a couch with some friends and playing some good old-fashioned couch multiplayer. And what sucks is that AAA developers don't seem to prioritize it anymore. Big developers these days seem more interested on the online side of multiplayer than the local side of multiplayer. And listen, this is not going to be a video about shitting on online multiplayer. I love online multiplayer. For fuck's sakes, I grew up playing Warcraft 3 custom game modes and was baptized in the fires of Modern Warfare 2's online lobbies. A magical place where one asshole would always unmute his mic and play the shittiest rap music imaginable, all while never saying a word. Or where the brightest minds would argue the most pressing matters of the day, like whether milk should be consumed by bag or by jug. The answer is bag. It's always been bag. This video is more gonna be about how the games industry as a whole has lost the magic of couch multiplayer. And why I think that's important, because even though online multiplayer is awesome, I don't think it compares to playing in person. The first thing I want to look at is why the industry is moving towards online gaming and why it's leaving local multiplayer in the dust. And mostly, it's because of two reasons: monetization and performance. I don't know if you've played an online game recently, but oh my fuck, they are monetized to shit. You have your loot boxes, your battle passes, subscriptions, skins, fucking 7,000 different in-game currencies. AAA developers just make so much money off these monetization models. EA alone probably made more than the entire nation of Belgium last year just by selling these stupid fucking cards. And Rockstar basically stopped making games for an entire decade because GTA Online literally fucking prints money for them. When online games are so lucrative, why in the world would developers ever focus any effort on local multiplayer? Something that can't be monetized in the same way. Also, when you split up a screen like this, you absolutely destroy the game's performance. If you have 4 people playing a game, you're essentially running that game four separate times. Fuck. That usually comes at the cost of graphical fidelity, or FPS. Now, this was fine back in the day because 25 years ago, I literally don't even think the average person knew what the fuck frames per second even was. When I would play through Mario Kart 64 with 4 people, and that shit would drop to like fucking single-digit FPS on DK Parkway, I thought that shit was a feature. I'd be sitting there like, oh damn, when did Mario Kart get slow-mo? What? One of the greatest games of all time, Ocarina of Time, runs at like 20 FPS. And back in the 90s, nobody even noticed. I think the average consumer today is less forgiving if a game looks like shit and runs like shit. And game developers sure as hell don't want to put their game in a position to look worse than it has to. So unfortunately, most of them just skip adding local multiplayer altogether. And as someone who grew up in the N64 era, seeing this decreased interest in local multiplayer fucking sucks. Because if you didn't notice, the N64 was the fucking king of local multiplayer. You had games like Smash Bros, Mario Party, GoldenEye, Pokemon Puzzle, Pokemon Stadium, Mario Kart. You had fucking Mario Golf, Mario Tennis. Oh my god, you had the wrestling games. The wrestling games were so good. There was so many legendary games on that console, and basically all of them could be enjoyed on a shitty couch in a basement somewhere. When I boot up Mario Party 2 and hear this theme, it honestly feels like home. And it's because it reminds me of all the great times I've had playing this game with my cousins. Every stolen star, every betrayal that almost broke up our family, every photo finish at Day at the Races, every time one of those assholes knocked me into the water at Mushroom Mix-Up. Honestly, there's just so many great memories that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And honestly, a big reason why I think that is because we were all in the same room, sitting on the same couch. I honestly think there's a magic to that. Now, it's kind of hard to explain in words why there's a magic to it, but there definitely is. Like I said before, online multiplayer is great, but I just don't feel like it compares. There is an inherent latency when talking to somebody online, and it can sometimes ruin the flow of conversation, especially if you're talking in large groups of people. It is so much easier to talk over somebody online than it is in person because of this latency. It is why so many podcasts started to fucking suck over the COVID-19 lockdowns. A lot of them went from being in person to like a fucking Zoom call. And that shit kills the comedic timing and energy needed to put on an entertaining podcast. And I think the same thing happens when gaming online with a group of friends. Body language is another huge aspect of it. When one of my friends slips off the final bridge in DK Mountain because one of the bananas I put there, plummeting him into last place, I want to be there to see the rage. Or if I land on a chance space on the last turn of a Mario Party match, causing me to swap stars and coins with my friend, causing him to come in last place, I want to be there to see the soul leave his body. Also, when you have 4 people huddled around a TV, all playing together, it feels like a fucking event. It feels special. And online multiplayer can sometimes feel like a typical Tuesday night. Especially when one of your friends is distracted by their phone, hardly even talking, and the other one keeps muting themselves to talk to their girlfriend. Kevin, you fucking piece of shit. In fact, I think this effect is so powerful, you don't even need to be playing multiplayer games for it to work. It works just as well with single player games. I'm sure everyone watching has fond memories of playing games with a sibling or a parent. Whether that be an older brother showing you Resident Evil for the first time, or just playing Mario 64 with your dad. Just having someone there with you playing the game makes the experience like 10 times better. One of my favorite examples of this was playing through Mario Golf Toadstool Tour with my cousin Tyler. Tyler was convinced that kneeling on the sofa and sticking his feet in between the cushions would bring him good luck. So every time he had an important shot, he would get on his knees and stick his feet in between the couch cushions. And we were trying to unlock Koopa Kid, which requires you to get 18 birdies in a row on this tree fort course. So there was a lot of important shots. It got so bad that I started to believe in it as well. And if he missed an important shot and his feet weren't in those couch cushions, I'd be like, dude, are you trying to fuck us? Put your feet in those couch cushions, you whore. Ugh. It's a really stupid memory, but I love it. And I have so many memories like this. For fuck's sakes, I just paid $100 for this copy of Super Mario RPG. A game that I already own 3 separate times on 3 separate consoles. Just because I have so many great memories playing through it with my older cousin. And honestly, it's something that I desperately miss. So, the majority of this video has been about how I think the gaming industry as a whole has lost the magic of couch multiplayer. But this last little section is gonna be about how I lost it. When I was a kid, this stuff meant the world to me. I would probably play games with friends every week, if not every day. But as I grew older, this part of my life started to fade away. My friends, they started to get busy. They started to get jobs. They started to get families. They started to lose interest in video games. I used to play games with friends every day, but now I'm lucky if it's 4 or 5 times a year. And that really sucks because I miss it. I miss all the stupid shit like putting your feet in between couch cushions because you think it's gonna help you with a putt, or beating a game in a single night during a sleepover. These days, the rare chance I do get to play games, I usually do it solo. And I came to the realization that that's the way it's gonna be moving forward. But then, something funny happened. During the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, my son was born. And for the first little bit of his life, he didn't really understand video games. But recently, that started to change. One day when he was napping, I was playing through Kenna Bridge of Spirits. And I was stuck on a particularly hard boss fight. And I was trying to be as quiet as I could, but I think my frustrations got the better of me. Because he woke up from his nap and just wandered into my room. And he just started watching me play. And he saw me die to that boss over and over and over again. But then, I finally got a good run in. I took that boss's HP lower than I had in any other try. She was only a couple hits away from death. But the problem was, so was I. So, I started getting excited. And I don't even know if he knew what was going on, but he started getting excited as well. And with every near miss, I would start screaming. And then he would start screaming because I was screaming. And then it got to the point where we were both on our last hit. And she sent out her last attack, and I fired off my last arrow. And it hit. And we just both started screaming. And for the first time in a long time, that magic that I experienced so many times in my childhood came back. This might not seem like a big moment, but it was the first time me and my son bonded over this stupid fucking hobby that I'm so passionate about. However small it was a moment I've been waiting for my entire life. I can't wait to have more moments like this with him. I can't wait to see all the adventures we go on. I hope these moments that we experience together create the same magic in him that I experienced when I was a kid. And I hope I can rekindle some of the magic that I lost all those years ago.